Hello, I'm Dudley Byer, the Agricultural Programs Manager for the Nebraska Investment Finance Authority. In this video, I'd like to give you an overview of NIFA's Beginning Farmer Rancher program. If you would like to see what NIFA's mission, vision, and values are, please visit our website at NIFA.org. The topics I'd like to go over today is the program purpose, borrower eligibility, previous land ownership limits, lender eligibility, related party transactions, eligible purchases, houses and garages, the financing process and timeline, fees, what happens down the road, and how to get the ball rolling. The purpose of NIFA's Beginning Farmer Rancher program is to help beginning farmers and ranchers obtain lower interest rate ag loans. The loan must be for a purchase, so it's not an operating loan, a loan to rent property, or to refinance existing debt. And so how do we do this? NIFA is able to issue the beginner's lender a tax-exempt bond. That bond will make the interest income on that loan exempt for both federal and Nebraska state tax, thus enabling that lender to offer the borrower a reduced interest rate. Borrower eligibility. So there is no age or experience requirement for the beginner borrower. There's no requirement that the main or sole source of income be coming from agriculture. Borrower does not even technically have to be a resident of Nebraska, but the purchase would have to be located in Nebraska. The net worth at the time of application cannot exceed $500,000, and that beginner must materially and substantially participate in the agricultural operation. They could not have already owned a substantial amount of farmland previously. So they could not have owned more than 30% in acres of the median size of farms for the county in which that land is or was located. And the purchase must be made in the name of an individual, not a partnership or corporation, and used in a sole proprietorship type operation. Here's an example of some previous land ownership limits in Nebraska. As you can see, the more urban the county, the lower the limit is, and the more rural the county, the higher the limit is. All of the limits for all the counties in Nebraska are located on our website at NIFA.org. Also, in regards to previous land ownership limit, an undivided ownership interest is viewed as an ownership of an entire parcel. So, for example, someone with a 25% undivided ownership interest in 200 acres is viewed as owning some portion of all 200 acres, not just 50 acres. Land about to imminently pass through inheritance is viewed as previous ownership. Previously owned farmland disposed of due to insolvency, such as in a bankruptcy or divorce situation, may still allow the individual to qualify as a beginning farmer or rancher. Lender eligibility. Any type of lender can participate in this program. So a traditional lending institution such as a bank, it can be a private seller lender doing a land contract with the beginner, or it could be a private investor lender. There is no sign-up necessary for lenders to participate in this program. Related party transactions. Transactions between linearly related parties must be at fair market value, and we can't do land contracts between linearly related parties. So we couldn't be part of a land contract between a grandfather, father, son, siblings, that type of thing. But we could be part of a land contract that's happening between the borrower and his or her aunt or uncle. So what can you purchase using NIFA's Beginning Farmer Rancher program? Land, permanent ag improvements, equipment and machinery, and breeding livestock. And as you can see, for 2023, the limit on land or permanent ag improvements to land is $616,100. And on the used equipment and machinery or breeding livestock, it's $62,500. I would note that an already completed purchase transaction can still use NIFA's program after the fact if applying to NIFA within 60 days of that purchase transaction having already occurred. Houses and garages. So this particular program cannot assist with the purchase of dwelling structures or adjacent structures, such as a house and garage. If the borrower is trying to keep everything in one ag loan deal, then they would need to come up with a down payment that's greater to or equal than the value of the house and garage. Please note that the down payment monies can be coming from any source. So borrower out of pocket, or if the Farm Service Agency is participating in the purchase transaction, their funds can be considered to be down payment sources of money also. If the borrower is unable to come up with a down payment that covers the value of the house and garage, then they would need to section off that portion of the land with the house and garage and finance it in a separate loan. So what is the financing process and timeline? The lender and the borrower negotiate all the loan terms. So the interest rate must be below the lender's normal rate. The loan term cannot exceed 30 years. And note that NIFA's program can be used in conjunction with the Farm Service Agency participation loan programs, such as their 50-50 program, where the Farm Service Agency comes up with 50% of the funds that the borrower needs, and a bank using NIFA's program comes up with the other 50%. The next step then would be for the lender and the borrower to submit an application to NIFA, and we will issue a document that's called an intent resolution if it's approved to proceed. And at the very end, the loan can close as tax exempt shortly following the date of NIFA's next board meeting. And all of the board meeting dates are published on our website at NIFA.org. An interim loan can be done if needing to close sooner than NIFA can be ready. Fees. So there is a fee for using our program. It's comprised of 3 components. First component is 1.25% of the principal loan amount. That's a NIFA fee. And we have a legal counsel fee, which is based on loan size, as you can see here. And there's a bond allocation fee of $150. Fees max out at $47.75 for all loans of $250,000 or higher. Fees may be added into the loan request if both the borrower and the lender so desire. And our application fee of $250 is essentially a deposit, and it's applied to these fees at the end, and they're not put on top of them. So down the road, conditions could change so that the lender and the borrower want to change some of the loan terms. They can certainly do that. It just does, though, need to go through NIFA's formal modification approval process. It's possible for a borrower to use NIFA's program more than once. In doing so, the borrower, each time they come in, would need to qualify under the same beginning farmer rancher definition that is in place at that time. In regards to the net worth limit and not having already owned too many acres of ag land previously. Also down the road, it's possible that the borrower on an existing NIFA loan wants to change the use of the land to something other than agriculture, such as they want to sell or rent out a portion of it. That can be done, but what needs to happen in that case is that the portion of the loan paid off must be equal to or greater than the value of the land being repurposed to keep that tax-exempt status of the loan intact. So here's an example. A past NIFA borrower wants to sell off 40 of 160 acres. Current market value of the 40 acres is $50,000. Then at least $50,000 of the loan must be paid off to keep the tax-exempt status of that loan intact. And that $50,000 can be achieved either through past accumulated loan payments that have occurred already, or simultaneously as part of a sales transaction where the sales proceeds are immediately put towards paying off the loan. So to get the ball rolling, we have a 2-part application form. The first part is called an official action certificate. That's information about the borrower and what their agricultural operation is going to be. And the other form is called the loan submission voucher. That's a form that the lender signs, and it gives us some information about the loan. There are 2 types of loan submission voucher forms, one for a traditional lending institution, such as a bank, or there is a land contract type of loan submission voucher form. And these forms are available on our website at NIFA.org, and they can be electronically completed and submitted or printed out and completed by hand. Here's contact information for myself and NIFA. I hope this gives you a better understanding of NIFA's Beginning Farmer Rancher program.